WORX Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. WORX Power and Garden Tools. CVA muzzle loaders. It's just a better gun. Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. TUFF Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth. Roadrunner Lures, Roadrunner equals more fish. Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, State Parks and Historic Sites.
Good morning, boys and girls, from the Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio. To repeat myself, welcome to the program. This is WORX Radio every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Thank you for joining us. News Talk 750 WSB 750 and AM dial and 95.5 on your FM dial. Welcome to the program, everyone. We're talking politics for the... No, that's not right. We're talking fishing and hunting and outdoors and family activities for the next 2 hours, and we hope that you'll join us. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 inside the Atlanta calling area, and outside, surprisingly, 800-972-8255. From Maine to Miami, from L.A. to Seattle, this is O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. We hope you'll find time to join us. We may have a fishing tip or two. Let me tell you that this program is brought to you proudly every day, well, not every day, really just Saturdays, by WORX Tools, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring Power, Tuff Shed Storage Buildings, Big Green Egg, Mark Hurd Fuel, All Exterminating, Arctic Ice, and Rocco's Pub. Going to Rocco's tonight. So, welcome to the program. We have a lot of things to discuss today. I can tell you that you can watch O'Neill Outside on Fox Sports all over the country, MOTV, Waypoint, Hunt Channel, Gone TV, Carbon TV, YouTube TV, O'Neill Outside at Amazon Prime, and with podcasts at Apple and SoundCloud and Samsung and Smart TV and Chromecast and Amazon. Enough of the self-promotion. We're talking fishing over the next couple of hours. Hunting season is over, except for hogs. We may get into that too. But this is O'Neill with WORX Radio, 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. We've got 2 hours of outdoors headed your way. The radio prize package, the Medal of Honor tribute, and Who Is This? All today. But you stay right there. I'll be back. Yeah, there. Well, welcome back, everyone. This is O'Neill with WORX Radio. We've got several calls, but I want to issue you very first. Every week we have the best fishing tip ever. The best fishing tip. Well, the best fishing tip this week. And before we get to the calls, lest I forget, here is your best fishing tip for this week, the 22nd. Is it May or is it June? It's May. May the 22nd. Ready? Retie after every fish or every time you get hung up or every time you cast up and hit a cable around a dock, every time around a bridge piling, retie. It's impossible for you to tell the damage to the line and the stress to the knot every time you catch a fish. Retie. It's nice and fresh, and you won't lose the fishing trip of a lifetime. Right now, however, let's talk to Roadster. Good morning, Roadster. I hadn't heard from you in a while, pal. How are you?
Fine, buddy. Any better, I couldn't stand myself at all.
There you go.
Being in North Georgia, a guy like myself that hunted and fished over North Georgia and never encountered our great black bear, which I'm a natural predator lover.
Yes. Okay.
And I know that you, living up on sassafras, you might have had some encounters with them.
Literally dozens. I will see a black bear. Usually it's a sow with cubs because there's so many more of them, at least weekly.
Well, I grew up on seed and with the Stainback family, and Carolyn and Bill, they always, I was all over those mountains up there, and I never saw one. I'm 75. So I got you a little bit on age, but I was just wondering, we see so many, and we never have any encounters with humans.
Okay, well, I'll comment about that as to why I here would see so many, and you didn't then. Maybe is that the comparison?
Sounds good.
Okay, here we see so many because there's so many people. There's so many people that live in the mountains now. So you get one bear that walks down the road, and 50 people see it. And that's not 50 bears. It's still only one bear. And then two, in this area up here, regretfully, in this area that so many people now, stupidly, and I won't pull any punches, they feed...
No, ignorance.
All right, they feed the bears.
I'm an ignorant cracker. So,
okay, they feed.
We don't use stupid. We use ignorant.
Okay, they feed the bears. So, oh yes, and so when I'm out of the office here, when on the road or whatever the case might be, or traveling in the neighborhood, you see the bears, but they're always near the homes where the people feed them.
Okay.
So that's dangerous. It's
detrimental. They don't need pork or human to feed on because they're being fed.
Correct. It's a catchy phrase, but nevertheless it's very true, and that is a fed bear is a dead bear. Because once he gets a meal and a few meals around this big block building that smells like a human, well, then that's what he'll do. He'll go from house to house to house to house to house until he locates one where they'll feed him. And so usually the ones I see, they are in transit from one of those houses to another one of those houses.
So in other words, if we were to buy our permits and go like we used to do, go up to the Dukes Creek and headwaters of the Chattahoochee and trout fish with our young ones, so they're not going to be eaten up.
No. A bear, we've got a couple of knuckleheads up here in the neighborhood that actually feed these bears by hand. Now let that.
Well, I would do that in Doraville, but I mean, if I had one down here.
Well, most people, you do, Roadster, and I do, and most of this audience will identify with the following. These bears are so strong that they could grab you by the neck and climb a tree with you in their mouth.
Wow.
So this is idiocy. And here's the final for this on this subject. Not final, but nevertheless part of it. These bears have been living in these mountains and all over Georgia and the southeast since the last ice age, 11,700 years ago, and they have been just fine without us feeding them.
Well, O'Neill, we used to could say that about our white-tailed deer.
Yeah.
But because of the great hunters that and the State Game and Fish, which in the old days is what we called, what they call it now?
DNR.
I don't know. Yeah. But State Game and Fish did such a great job stocking these deers from where most of our deer come from, Texas or Alabama or
no, most of the deer in Georgia came from Michigan and Wisconsin and some in Virginia.
Have you ever heard of a white deer that was stocked in from Germany?
No, I have not, and I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't believe
that.
Good
to talk to you.
A white deer is an albino, and that is an albino deer can mate with a normal-looking deer, and they won't get another deer that's white.
I got you.
That's an aberration. That's a mistake.
Well, it's good to talk to you, good friend, and best to you and the Queen.
You bet. Thanks a million, pal.
Bye now.
You bet. See you later. There we go. Let's see. How's my time? It's 19 after. Let's try this. Let's go to John in Lilburn. I'll always enjoy talking to John. Good morning, John. We got a couple of minutes. What's going on with you, sir?
O'Neill, how you doing, bud?
Outstanding.
Oh, good. Listen, my brother's up here from South Georgia, and we were talking this evening about down in South Georgia, they don't seem to stock some of those big lakes. They're not even big lakes, but the lakes down there like they do up in the North Georgia mountains or areas. And I was wondering if you had any idea why that is. They just kind of ignore like Lake Chehaw and some of these other.
Well, they all right. Here's the tip. Now, what you're talking about, which stock these? You say some of these lakes are being stocked with what?
Just anything, any kind of sport fish or catfish, anything. They don't seem to spend the kind of money and time that they do in some of these other lakes, in like Eufaula, and the Lord knows they spend a lot of money up here, in the north. But I don't know. Have you ever fished much down in South Georgia?
I've fished some of the big lakes in South Georgia, like Seminole and places like that, and fished the lakes down along the Chattahoochee below Columbus.
Yes.
I tell you what, this is a good point that you've raised. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute.
Okay.
We'll go to a few breaks, and I want to keep you on hold because I have some comments that may be meaningful to you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll put you on hold there. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. I don't know who thought of this, but I could hit him in the head with a hammer, that whoever it was. But we started it, listen to this, isn't this crazy? 29 years ago. I'll come to my senses one day, and you're going to miss me. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. Okay, let's get started back with, welcome back. You're listening to O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. In case you just joined us, the telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and across the East Coast, from Texas to Minneapolis and New York to Miami, it's 800-972-8255. So let's go back and chat now with John, because we're talking about stocking some of these lakes, aren't we, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think what we've gotten mixed up here is the stocking that you're hearing about that's the most repetitive and most famous is lakes, mostly in from Macon, Georgia up, whereby you get stocked stripers and hybrids. I don't personally know of any lakes that get stocked largemouth bass or anything of that nature from the Department of Natural Resources. Some of these lakes get stocked trout and those two other species, but that's about it.
Well, no, Lake Eufaula or Walter F. George, they put stripers down there.
That's what well, see, it's stripers because stripers, they have to be stocked because they don't reproduce.
Right.
Neither do the hybrids. So they have to be continually
right.
they have to be continually stocked.
Okay.
A largemouth bass and everything else are self-sustaining.
Right. Well, I guess my main question is there's a lot of tributaries off the Flint River in South Georgia, and a lot of big creeks down there that come together around Albany, and they call it Lake Cheehaw, and it's a pretty lake down there. A lot of pretty houses on it, but they've just sort of walked around it. I don't know if the authorities haven't been notified that we want to. Yeah, because they once every couple of years they'll drain the water out.
Oh, okay.
To do work and things, and that would be a perfect opportunity to go in and dredge out and.
Well, I guess they leave it up to the people who own the property on the lake.
I guess so.
Be.
That's what I don't know. And I'm wondering, is that something the folks around there have to, notify and say, hey, we're down here too, and we've got big water, and we like to fish.
I understand.
And we pay our taxes.
Right.
So
here's a comment that I think it will be a surprise to you. Natural lakes like the one that you're talking about, Lake Eufaula, and lakes down in South Georgia, without stocks of hybrids and stripers. If you were to drain the lake down and then fill it back up every 3 to 5 years, it would be the best lake in the state, because a new lake. The lake's lifetime from year number 3 to year number 6 are the best 3 years of the lake's life.
Right. I've heard you say that, and I believe that to be true, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everything is new. And so, hey, have them drain it every 3 years and fill it back up. It'll be a great lake.
Well, it seems like they do, and they have to do a little work, I guess, down there.
Evidently on the dam or the stream, something of that nature.
Something, yeah.
You bet. Have a good one, John.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good talking to you, and I'll talk to you next week, buddy.
You bet. I hope so. There you go. All right, before we get to Don, let's put the radio prize package question out there. Okay, time for the radio prize package, and the rules are Don, who's already on the line, he can't win. And then for everybody else, you have to be 18 years old, and you cannot have won the radio prize package in the last 6 months at least. The radio prize package gifts are the prizes: DNR Rigs magazine, a Big Green Egg koozie kit, an Angler magazine, Georgia State Parks Guide, 2 cans of Fisher's Choice baits, a selection of True Turn tackle. It's a whole package of tackle, a Hydro Shot glass, a Real Tree hat and decal combo. And the question is, in Georgia, and we're going to talk about this later, in Georgia, what was the name of the lake where the world's record largemouth bass was caught in 1932? Answer that question if you can, and you will radio prize package. 30 minutes after the hour. Right now, let's talk to Don. And Don's calling from?
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
You're the greatest, man. What's going on over there? You catching any fish?
Well, we are. The Spanish have just now moved in, and it's unusual this year. Normally you catch small Spanish, and then later in the season you get the big one. But now we got some big ones in already, so I don't know what's all about that. Let me ask you a question. Whenever I was a kid, we fished off of Wrightsville Beach, and we had schools of Spanish mackerel up there in the early summer and all summer long. And down here we get stragglers. We don't have schools down here. Does fish in the ocean migrate back to where they were born, or are they just there by a chance?
they're just by chance according to the bait fish and the water temperatures. Now, something like a striper would, because he's going to go back to the freshwater stream where he was born, like a salmon.
Right.
But otherwise, pelagic species like Spanish and kings, they're going to go strictly by the amount of bait available and the water temperature.
Okay,
because
I just wondered about that because they're Wrightsville is north of the Frying Pan Shoal, and they get stripers up there, but we don't get stripers down south of the Frying Pan. So
they're headed for that fresh water somehow, or
that's Cape Fear River, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. They're headed that fresh water in the Cape Fear River. That's it.
They tell me there's a lot of fresh water in the Cape Fear. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie, Cape Fear. Have you ever seen it?
I have several times.
Yeah, that's one of those traditional ones. That's good.
Yep, and you exempt me from that prize package this morning. That's the only question I've ever known in all the 28 years.
Well, see there, doggone it, Don, you're just not lucky.
I'm not lucky, I guess.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh,
Good.
I love you and Gail, and I've been enjoyed the 28 years we've been talking, and it's looking forward to the fishing season over here again this year. So.
You bet. Hey, catch a few of those Spanish. I understand they eat well, especially.
Well, they did. I can tell you that from last week.
I like Spanish. If you cook them that day.
Well, they get a little fishier the second and third day out, but from a man that eats a lot of mullet, that doesn't make a whole lot of problems.
Hey, I love fresh fried mullet.
Ooh.
That's a delicacy, man.
Well, they've got a method of cooking them over here. They cook them on a cedar stick, and they extend it over a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That ain't too bad either.
Nah, absolutely not. Thanks for calling, Don. Have a good, safe week, and catch a few for me, will you, please?
All right, partner.
You bet. See you later. Okay, we have our prize package winner. I'll ask that question again, then we'll find out our answer. This is awfully interesting because I have some trailing information about that you're going to be interested in, I am sure. The question was, in Georgia, in 1932, the world's record largemouth bass was caught. Now, see, this was many years ago, of course, but 1932. In what lake was it caught? And here, let's talk to John and Marietta. Good morning, John.
Good morning, my friend.
Well, what lake? What's the name of that lake?
There's a little oxbow called Montgomery, Lake Montgomery.
That is correct. And that lake, interesting, that lake doesn't exist anymore.
That's right. She filled in.
Yep, the river took it back over. How about that? Well, give us we've got you. Do we have your information that we can send you the package?
Yes, you do.
Well, in the next couple of weeks, you can look for a little box to show up one day, and it's all free. You can have it.
Well, one of those little knotheads that I fish with that's about 6 years old will end up with that box.
Oh, fantastic. You'll love all that, the True Turn package. It's got dozens of little spinner baits and things of that nature and hooks and weights and all that kind of stuff, and that can be his.
Absolutely.
Mighty fine.
I guess that's why you call them grands.
Yeah, I'm that too. All right, my good friend. I'm glad you knew the answer, and it turned out well that you got up early.
Yeah, I'm that other little Norris craft driver.
Oh yeah, you good? Good for you. All right, my good friend. I'll see you soon. Call back anytime. All right. Here's something interesting about this world's record largemouth stuff. In 2003, a lady, a female fisherman, a lady, she was fishing with her son, and I think it was Sunny Lake or Sandy Lake or something like that, a 70-something acre reservoir in California, Spring Lake. And she caught a 22-pound, 8-ounce largemouth bass. You can look it up on the internet. It was certified, and now, to a whole lot of people, it doesn't have the same ring to it, but an awful lot of people, it is indeed the new world's record largemouth bass. Didn't make any money out of it, but she should have. If she were a tournament fisherman, she would be a multi-millionaire. But there's photos of that fish on the internet. Caught in 2003, 22 pounds and 8 ounces. Scary. I would faint. Okay, we've got a lot of calls. We're going to get to every single one of them. It's 36 after the hour. This is O'Neill with WORX Radio, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. In case you just joined us, this is WORX Radio, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. live every Saturday morning. WSB 750 AM on your dial and 95.5 FM covering 38 states on Saturday mornings. And this is our 29th year on the radio. And it's the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country. I'm going to repeat the fishing tip. I like to do this over and over again in case you just joined us. The best fishing tip for this week: retie after every fish. Retie after every time you get hung up. It only takes about 10 seconds, and it may be the time, instead of reeling in where the knot came undone because it was weak or damaged, you end up catching the fishing trip of a lifetime. Right now, however, what a treat. Oh, my goodness, hadn't heard from him in a while. Here's Milton Crabapple on WORX Radio. Good morning, Milton.
O'Neill?
Yes, sir.
Milton Crabapple.
How are you, Milton?
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
You know, I haven't talked to you in a while, since turkey season started, I reckon.
Yeah, I guess so. You've been hunting every weekend, right?
Just about it, yes, sir.
Yeah. How'd you do?
Know, it's over. Well, I got a nice turkey the last weekend of the season.
Okay.
But it was tough on account of we ain't got as many turkeys as we used to have.
Absolutely not. They're in big trouble.
You know, I hunt up in the mountains, and I'll tell you, they've been hard to find this year. And it seems like 3 or 4 years ago, there was just turkeys everywhere up there.
You bet.
I don't know what's happened to them.
Well, predators, of course, and then two, I believe that they're going to, in Georgia at least, they will shorten the season and reduce the limits coming up next year. But we'll see.
We'll see. You know, somebody told me they thought there was a parasite was in turkeys all over the country that was causing them to disappear. But I don't know. I ain't heard that.
I haven't either. Any
official news, I guess.
Yes, right. Well, what's been going on with you? You've been turkey hunting, but what else?
You know, the other day I was walking through the cemetery. You know, I like to do that every now and then just to pay my respects to all my ancestors that are buried there.
Right.
And I saw this old man. He was down on his knees, kneeling in front of this tombstone.
Oh.
And he was talking to whoever was in that grave, and he had tears rolling down both cheeks, and I was eased over close to him, and I was listening to him. He said, "Why did you have to die?" He said, "My life was perfect. I woke up every day with a smile on my face, and then you died."
Oh, boy.
He said, after you died, things changed. He said, "Now my life is just hell." He said, "I wish I was dead, too."
Oh, no.
And I walked over. I said, "Excuse me, sir, who died?" He said, "My wife's first husband." I'll tell you never know how things are going to work out.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I felt sorry for him.
You have some unique experiences, Milton. I'll tell you that. I'll give you that.
Well, I got a fishing tip for you.
Okay.
Too. It takes me about 5 minutes to retie my line, and you get on a good brim bed, you'd be spending your whole time retying your lines. I just have to take my chances with them knots.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Well, on a brim bed, that's kind of different, but so.
But I guess if you was a lot of money riding on it, and you was in a tournament or something, you couldn't take no chances at all.
You betcha. You'd retie after.
You'd have to tie them things.
You bet. Well, what's coming up for
Stop
you?
by the jail.
Well,
We'll finish that checker game.
All right, I'll do that too. But let me ask you, what have you got some trips planned? You going to go fishing somewhere foreign, or you got some?
Not till Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So, hey, isn't it about time?
Picked out. I'm going with a friend of mine. You know, he's got his little boat rigged up for them crappie, and he's got a bunch of little private ponds. It's funny. A lot of folks didn't let us get in there and fish for them crappie. They have a rule, and it seems like a lot of them have the same rule.
Okay.
They say they'll let you fish there under one condition.
All right.
And that is you can't keep a bass and you can't throw a crappie back in.
Oh, that's not a bad rule.
That's a good rule.
Yes, sir. That's good.
You know, if you want lots of bass, you can't have them in a small pond if it's full of crappie, because they eat the same thing.
That's right. The crappie will eat up everything, and the bass will be tiny.
They sure will.
Yeah.
They sure will.
Hey, that's
also,
Go ahead.
in them small ponds, now they tell you everybody's big on catch and release, but if you talk to a pond biologist, he'll tell you every bass you catch that's 12 inches long or less, you need to either take it home and clean it and eat it or throw it over the dam.
That's right. Get rid of that.
Get them out of there.
You bet.
If you want to grow big bass, you got to get all them little bait stealers out of there.
Yeah,
take them home and eat them. Don't feel bad about it. They're good to eat.
That's right. That's a good tip. A lot of ponds, they make you keep everything under 14 inches.
For 14 inches, yes, sir, that's true. And, you know, a lot of folks have a problem with that. They're kind of religious about keeping a bass. They want to throw everything back. They think if you throw him back, he'll be a bigger next year, but that ain't true. He may be as big as he's going to get.
That's exactly right. There's not enough to eat. Milton, it's good to hear from you, sir.
Out of there.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad you had a successful turkey season. And you're right, we got to start paying more attention to this turkey population because it's going down.
Stop by the jail.
I will do that too, my good friend. Good to see you. Or good to hear from you at least. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. It's 47 minutes after the hour on a Saturday morning, and this is WORX Radio. And a second tip, okay? I'm big on tips because I am more so now and more so in the future because I know everybody doesn't listen to the program for 2 hours. 2 hours is a long time for me to do the show. But I'm going to repeat things that are tips that I've learned from people and overall tips and recommendations, and I'm going to say them over and over and over again, especially the ones that I think that are the most important. And here is probably one of the most important tips I can give you. Please pay attention. Ready? Outboard fuel or boat gas and alcohol do not mix. Drinking and boating is just asking for trouble. Drink some after the trip's over. Okay. All right, 47 after the hour. Let's talk to Wade now. I've got time to talk to Wade as he's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Good morning, Wade. How are you, my good friend?
Oh, getting a little better, buddy. Getting a little better.
Glad to hear it.
That Lyme disease was no fun. Well, it's still lingering in there, O'Neill.
How much longer have you got?
Well, Monday actually was the worst day yet. Couldn't hardly walk at all. I did good to get up and move around a little bit. And it's getting a little better, but still a lot of pain in the hips and the legs. And I talked to the doctor about that. And he said because I was bitten on the knee, that most of the poison probably stayed below my waist because of that.
Okay.
And I've got big legs and I've got good circulation, but you don't want it. So if y'all out there hunting turkeys or fishing or running up down the creek banks, watch out for them ticks. Use you some DEET or something.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get to because people that heard the show that might not have heard the show last week don't know what you and I are talking about. Wade has Lyme disease. And he got it from, and I'll leave it up to you.
I got it from a tick bite on my right thigh.
And you've had it now, what, 2 weeks? Uh-oh, I lost Wade. He's had it, I think, about 2 weeks or 3, and he just had his worst day was this past week. It lasts, I've never had it. I understand from the few people that I know of who have had Lyme disease that it is, you suffer from it. So, what to do about it? If you're going to be in the woods like this past turkey season, you're going to have a child on a hike in the woods and walking some outdoor trails, use plenty of anti-tick lotions. Okay? There are plenty of them. The one I like to use, what's the name of the one? Bug Ban. Bug Ban is the one I use, and I have never been bitten by a tick. And if you get bitten, that doesn't mean you're going to get Lyme disease, but you might. So I'm sorry for Wade. He's been suffering over the last few weeks from Lyme disease. It's 50 minutes after the hour right now. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We've had the radio prize package. The question was, what lake in Georgia fostered, or where was the world's record largemouth bass caught in 1932? It was, and I'll tell you, it was caught by a fellow by the name of George Perry. And that fish, that largemouth bass, weighed 22 pounds and 4 ounces. It has been matched and recorded by a largemouth bass caught in Japan that weighed the same. But if you're going to break the record, it has to be broken by more than 2 ounces. In 2003, in Spring Lake, California, a lady caught a bass that weighed 22 pounds and 8 ounces. And you can look that up on the internet, because I did last night when I was trying to make sure that it hadn't been broken. So it has been broken, and the International Game Fish Association has approved that new world's record weight. It was officially weighed, photos were taken, and here's the mistake that was made. And that is, they put the fish back. Wait a minute now, don't get upset. I didn't say kill the fish. I didn't say eat the fish. Keep that fish alive. Can you imagine how much, from a monetary standpoint, can you imagine how much Bass Pro Shop would pay you to travel to Bass Pro Shops with that fish in a big self-sustaining tank? And you could advertise this week at the Duluth, Georgia Bass Pro Shop. We have the new world's record largemouth bass. Selfishly, I would have kept that fish. I think there was some rule, and you can read about it. I think there was a rule that you could not keep fish out of Spring Lake, California. I would have sneaked that critter out, I think. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is WORX Radio and O'Neill Outside. Every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on News Talk 750 on your AM dial and 95.5 on your FM dial. And we hope you'll join us every week. Wade's back on the line, and we'll get to him right after this break. This is O'Neill. All right, before we conclude the first hour of WORX Radio today, let's go ahead and chat, because I have a question if I can bring it up here on my little list. Bring me up, Cody. Mine's is not working there. Bring up there he is. Okay, Wade from Bowling Green. All right, Wade, we've established how you got Lyme disease. And what would you recommend that people use some anti-tick cream before they go to the woods now?
Oh, no, anything. I mean, when I was a kid and used to pick blackberries and chiggers, we get chiggers on us. Mom would take even pine salt.
Yeah. And
rub it on around our long sleeve shirts and around their waist and tie around our socks. Maybe tie half a handkerchief on each sock or something.
Yeah.
But anything, you don't want it. I mean, it is miserable. I've had the COVID. November 19, I had it, and you remember talking about it?
Yes.
And I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever when I was about 11. But this is the worst thing I ever had. Flu-like symptoms, ill. You can't move. It attacks your joints, your muscles. I've hurt my left wrist, my left elbow, and my left ankle. And it makes all of that like I just done it again.
Yeah. Hey, remind me if we ever have a chance to meet, not to do that. Have a good weekend, pal.
I still got that Rocco's gift certificate. It's right there at Deanna's.
Oh yeah, you need to use that. You can join me there tonight.
Well, I heard that. See, Deanna lives right around the corner from you, and Poochie and I fish over near Boggs and Dix Creek. He caught 8 beautiful rainbows yesterday morning.
Oh, boy.
And Michael caught a spoonbill. What's these spoonbill fish up? It's about 3 foot long.
Oh.
Got a big old spoonful bill.
Yeah.
And he caught it on cut bait. And he sent me a picture. I'll try to send it to you on the internet. I got it on Messenger.
Please do. I got to go, pal.
I appreciate it.
You bet.
I'll get back with you on hunting fishing later. I enjoy your show and put me on hold.
Thank you. Okay, I'll put you on hold. There you go. Okay, before I get out of here, I want to tell you that you can watch O'Neill Outside live on Facebook at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday afternoon, 6:30 p.m. live on Facebook. And you can read all my columns on the Pickens County Progress, the Baldwin Bulletin, Lake Oconee News, Jones County, and the Eaton Messenger. And this is O'Neill, second hour coming up. I got to go get coffee.
WORX Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Bojangles famous chicken and biscuits, WORX Power and Garden Tools, CVA muzzle loaders, it's just a better gun, Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience, Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings, True Turn Hooks, hook more fish, Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth, Roadrunner Lures, Roadrunner equals more fish, Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs, Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait, and the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, State Parks, and Historic Sites.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the program, everyone. This is WORX Radio from the Bojangles studio high in the mountains of North Georgia, covering the United States and most of North America and some foreign countries. Welcome to the program. I'm here to tell you some self-promotion going on, and then I'll get to Alan and the rest of you. This program is brought to you every Saturday morning by WORX Tools. It's called WORX Radio. Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring Power Generators, Tough Shed Storage Buildings, Big Green Egg Smokers and Grills, Mark Hurd Fuel, All Exterminating, Arctic Ice, and Rocco's Pub. So we've got a lot of things to do. We've got the Who Is This question coming up here in a few minutes. We'll have the Medal of Honor tribute, and your calls, which makes the difference. I'm telling you that right now. So you can watch O'Neill Outside Television, and please do, on Fox Television Networks, Hunt TV, MOTV, Waypoint, Carbon TV, YouTube TV, O'NeillOutside.com. You can go there and you can watch all the shows, and Amazon Prime, and at 6:30 p.m. on Monday evenings, live on Facebook, O'Neill Outside, and you won't learn anything, but we'll have a chance to visit. I guess so. Okay, let's see. I had something else I was going to tell you right now, and I can't for the life of me think of. Oh, the podcast, O'Neill Outside radio program, another podcast on Apple, SoundCloud, Samsung, Smart TV, Google Chrome, Cast, Amazon Fire, Waypoint, Carbon TV, Spotify, and YouTube. And by going to O'NeillOutside.com, O'NeillOutside.com, where's my book? I've got a book around here somewhere. You can purchase right there on the homepage, O'Neill Outside, 65 years in the outdoors, people and places along the way. It's a book that's been out for a few years, and now it always has. You can get it at Amazon, and you can order it off my website. If you get it off the website, I'll personalize it for you. I'll sign my O'Neill name on there, and you can buy it there. And at Amazon, it has a 5-star rating, and I got to get out of here. Calls are waiting. We'll be back. Okay, 12 after the hour. This is O'Neill with WORX Radio. We have a lot of calls. We'll get to every single one of them. First of all, here's Mac calling from Lake Lanier, and let's learn something. Mac, what do you say?
Good morning, O'Neill.
What can we learn from you today?
Well, let's see. Where do we start? I'll tell you what. This is the first thing we want to talk about. Everybody going to the lake fishing's been pretty good. Lakes all over the southeast. But most of them are stuck in a big transition zone where we're not quite the summer, but we're a pretty good ways off the spring, and it shows because you got fish all over the place, depth-wise, and doing a lot of different things.
Yep.
And I'm talking about the bass and the stripe. We've still got a lot of bass in really shallow water. We got some out there already getting on offshore brush where they've spawned out. Ooh. And you may catch them either way, and you'll need to be versatile today. And we're seeing, to some extent, the same thing with the stripers. There's still some cruising shallow water, but we're starting to see some get over deep water or in between and on like humps and points, suspended over humps and points. So just really be versatile, be ready to do a lot of different things, and you might have to, I'm getting in a situation where I'm having to catch a lot of singles, and I can catch more than I think. But it's still a pretty good bite, and it's going to be a beautiful day, good day to go fishing.
Okay, everything that you're saying right now, that's for Lanier and lakes in northern Alabama and East Tennessee and the Carolinas. It's all the same thing, isn't it?
But yes, this is the qualifier, lakes with striped bass. How about that?
Okay.
So, yeah, because I've talked to a lot of guys in some of the places you just mentioned. They're kind of seeing the same thing. And our water temperature here is 70. It's going to heat up a lot this week. Other lakes maybe a little further north, still in the 60s. With the point being, though, that number is really good for fish to be – they can still be shallow. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing that everywhere. Just be aware of that. They're spread out. Be ready to do a lot of different things. Change up your game. Play in the middle of the day, whatever you need to do.
You betcha. Great advice, Mac. Have you got some open days this summer?
We got a few, and everybody thinks, wow, it's going to be hot in the summer. We won't catch them.
Oh.
You've seen it. No, but it only gets better here on out. But yeah,
you bet.
We'll get you out in the spring, we'll get you out in the summer, and you probably won't be disappointed.
That was the last time I striper fished with you. We caught one at 97 feet.
With a white Parker spoon in the middle of the day, and it was hotter than blazes.
You betcha.
Right?
You betcha.
Yeah, that fish was about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and it was probably 90-some degrees. So they got to eat. Everybody's got to eat, right?
Yeah, that's right. Stripers, too. Thanks for calling, Mac.
Absolutely.
Have a
great weekend. Get out there and go fishing. Be safe.
You bet. See you later, my good friend. There we go. And there goes Mac. And now let's talk to Alan's been holding on the longest next. Alan, good morning. It's O'Neill. What do you think?
Good morning, O'Neill. How's it going?
Wonderfully. What's going on with you?
I've been listening to, this morning you're talking about different kind of fishing tips to learn.
Okay.
I learned one from you years and years ago that at the time you told me about it, or I heard it on the radio, is that I questioned that tip, that I didn't think it was really a good tip. Well, I had to eat my words because I come to find out it was an excellent tip.
Ooh.
And the tip is to take and turn the trailer hook on your spinnerbait down.
You bet.
I'm a big spinnerbait fisherman, and for years I got frustrated by being short-striked until I heard that, and of course I didn't think it would work at the time until one morning I kept missing a lot of fish. So I said, I'll try it. I have never missed another one since.
How about that? And I got taught that by a guy in a tournament, because he had his spinnerbait with a trailer hook down, and mine was up. And then there was 123 boats in the tournament. I finished 11th, and he finished 3rd. And
well, my problem with it is I always kept thinking I get hung up. Well, it doesn't get hung up. I mean, just unless you just throw it into the middle of a tree or something,
right.
But I would say it's probably about one of the number one tips that I've got from you.
Well, good.
Over the many years I've been listening to you.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do.
And the second thing is, you made a comment at the first show about, you've been doing this for 30 years almost, and what would we do if you decide to give it up? I lost Rush. I can't lose you, too.
Oh, my goodness.
I would do.
Okay. I'll try to last a little longer.
Well, I'm not being the way he went. I just don't want you to go off the radio.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna take an opportunity here. Ready?
Okay.
I'm going to refine that tip about the spinnerbait. Ready?
All right.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And I got taught this again by a bass fisherman who qualified for the Bassmasters Classic and finished 2nd in the Bassmasters Classic. So this is a quality tip. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Make your trailer hook a treble hook.
I believe I heard you tell that before, too.
Give it a try.
Okay. I mean, I had done that with plastic worms. I put a trailer hook in the plastic worm.
Yes.
And it works sometimes, too.
But try it sometime just for fun. You may catch one more. You may not catch any more.
Well, the one thing I want to say to people out there listening to this show, these tips that you give us, no matter how ridiculous or whatever they may think of it, if you don't try it, you'll never find out.
That's exactly right.
And I had to find out the hard way because, sometimes we think we know everything when actually we don't know a damn thing. That's why we need people like you.
All right, mighty fine. Have a great weekend, pal. I'm glad you called, and tell me what you caught this weekend, okay?
All right, buddy. You have a great weekend.
You bet. Now let's talk to John, calling from New York. Good morning, John.
Yes, greetings from the Catskill Mountains.
Yes, indeed. Love to hear your voice.
Yes, we're enjoying some of your warm weather that you're ushering up to us.
Yeah, you bet.
And what that's doing is things are blooming out right now, and the apple trees and the oak trees are blooming out and getting pollinated. So hopefully, I'm thinking deer season, we'll have apples and acorns for the deer.
Good for you.
This year.
Yeah, good for you. The acorns very well may be the number one food for the white-tailed deer.
Up here it is.
Yes,
and they love those apples earlier, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Neil, this is 40 years ago was when I bought my first camera. Of course, I like going out in the woods, and besides hunting and stuff, I like taking wildlife photographs. And so 40 years ago, I ventured out with a friend, helped me out, and I bought my first camera. And I think I'm going to celebrate by buying everything's changed for the better. This digital photography and the technological advances. I'm going to pick up a mirrorless camera body. and that will enable me to take photographs quietly. Because once I start taking pictures of something, the shutter click gives away my position.
Okay.
But now I'll be more stealthy. But anyhow, now, O'Neill, last month we had our last snow. It was elevation snow, and I went up top of the mountain to track some stuff. And one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen was tracking a coyote, and he went over the backside of the mountain, and it's steep as they go down, and he did like a body surf. He was sliding down the mountain.
Oh, how about
I've
that?
never seen this with a coyote before for a good 20 yards.
I haven't.
I had to go back and, I'm like, why is he doing that? You know, well, first of all, it's fun for him.
And
secondly,
smart.
maybe he's trying to shed his hair, the winter hair off too.
Oh, they do. They do that. They remove parasites off of their skin and out of their hair by sliding around in the snow. They do that, absolutely.
Yeah, I've never seen that before with a coyote. I've seen it with a mink doing it before, running and sliding along through the snow off the top of the mountain where it's steep.
Bears will do that too.
Huh.
How about that?
Yep. Now, turkey season here is still going till the end of the month. I haven't.
John, I have a question for you, so I'm going to put you on hold. And I have a question for you, and I will be back right after this break. Welcome back. You're listening to WORX Radio and O'Neill Outside, and we're in conversation right now with John, and John is calling from the Catskill Mountains of New York. I have a question for you, John.
Yes.
How did you get that picture of that owl?
I was just coming down through the woods, and I saw him from a distance, and I said, what is that, a hornet nest? It's too early for a hornet. Yeah. No, it's an owl, and he was right at eye level, perched in the tree, so I snuck up on him, and he was sleeping at the time, and I started taking some pictures. Then he, like I said, he kind of dozing on and off, because even though they mostly hunt at night, they're hunting during the daytime. And he did. There's lots of chipmunks around, and he went down and hunted for a chipmunk and stuff. Now, and then he eventually went on. But, O'Neill, I've been working on these owls all week. I can't believe my good fortune with owls this year. I've never had it like that before. When I see an opportunity, I spend a lot of time on it. I dedicate as much time as I can when an opportunity knocks. And every morning I've been photographing the owls. Even with a chipmunk in its talons, and one brought in a redback mouse. I got it, and they're landing. My prayers are answered. I'll put it that way. They're landing in the trees right nearby me. I can't believe it.
How about
even
that?
with a mouse in its beak. Yeah.
They're hungry.
Well, anyhow, what's that?
They're hungry.
Oh yeah, and there's plenty of chipmunks here. Let me get back to turkeys now.
Okay.
They're henned up, the tom turkeys right now, and I'm not hunting them because I want them to nest, because I've noticed a slight decline in our population of turkeys too. I'll just put this observation out. A few years back, we had a hen nest not far from the house here, just over the stone wall, and she'd come off the nest and feed in the field, and when she got to the top of the field, she's all done, she would glide back down towards the nest instead of walking. I think it's to reduce the her trail in case any predator might be tracking her.
Could be.
It was. She did that all the time. It was just a behavior.
Excellent observation.
That I've never seen before. Yep.
Excellent observation.
Now, O'Neill, just one more thing I want to talk to you about. Your movie date, your date with your wife in your book.
Oh, okay.
Which is phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
I won't give it away. The only thing I could compare that with is I took my wife for our first movie when I was dating her back in the day. And the movie started, and I figured I'd put my arm around her. I elbowed her right in the eyeball. Not a swift move.
Well, you made it anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
She forgave you.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Good.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the compliment for the book. I appreciate that.
Yes.
People think it's a book about hunting and fishing, but it's not. It's about outdoors.
And that's the best thing.
And it's about outdoors and people and trips and places, but it's not about hunting and fishing. So.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, John.
Yep. I was going to say, I'll leave you with this. There's two bird watchers that accidentally bumped heads together, and they both yelled, "Owl!"
Get out of town.
Okay, that's corny.
That's enough. I'll see you, man. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, let's it's time for the Who Is This portion of the program. You'll learn something. Okay, it's brought to you by All Exterminating, and the prize is a box of goodies from All Exterminating. He puts flashlights and knives and all kind of trinkets and outdoor stuff in a box, and he'll send it to your house. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. The first correct caller to this question will win the box of goodies from All Exterminating. So, who is this? He was a longtime fishing editor of Sports Afield magazine. He served in that role from 1968 to 2002. He authored numerous books on bass fishing, The Art of Plug Fishing, A New Guide to Bass Fishing, Worming and Plugging for Bass, and Bass Wisdom. In his remarkable life, he started out after high school. He worked as a job as a salesman at an outdoor store in Ohio for the next 8 years, and he had a chance to see about everything new in outdoors. One day, an editor for a local newspaper came into the sporting goods store where he worked and asked him if he knew somebody who could write a fishing column. He volunteered himself, and he was hired, and he was the premier fishing writer in a major magazine for the rest of his life. He died in 2012 at 97. Who is this? 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Who is that guy? And we'll send you another box of goodies. Right now, however, let's talk to Hank the Yank. What do you say, my good friend? Where are you today, and where are you going?
I'm in the living room right now.
Okay. All right.
That's where I am.
Okay.
I just got dressed, and I'm going to leave here in about 10 minutes. You ready for this?
Okay.
I'm heading to the carp flat.
Oh, my goodness. Is it time for that?
Yep. It's time to catch old bugle lips, as you like to call them.
That's what he is.
Yep. I've got my first carp trip. I've got a number of trips lined up this year, and today's my first trip. We're transitioning over from Lake Lanier to the Chattahoochee River,
and fishing in shallow waters for the common carp, right?
That's right. Yes, sir. We'll be in water. We'll be in a place. We'll be putting this boat where water used to be.
Okay.
Basically, we're going to be fishing puddles. We get into a very shallow drafting boat, and for our listeners that don't kind of know how we fish for carp with a fly rod, we get out in the Chattahoochee River and we go off onto these oxbow lakes off to the side of the river, and we get up on these flats like you'd see people in Florida poling in the Keys, where they get on the back of the boat and start pulling their boats around in about a foot of water, and we'll be doing the same thing here in Georgia.
Oh, boy.
And the carp get on the flats, and I will tell you, they are you feel like you're red fishing or bone fishing. The only difference is they eat like a permit. They don't eat very well. It's a very, very, very if you're an angler that likes to catch a lot of fish, this is not the fishery for you.
This is delicate, isn't it?
This is, you've got to be stealthy. You've got to put that fly. It's not about making long casts, O'Neill. It's about making accurate casts. Carp, they don't see very well, and you've got to put that fly on their nose from 30 to 40 feet away. So it's a very challenging fishery, and it's when one does come to hook up, they pull hard, and they're just a fantastic sport fish to go after. But it's not for those anglers that like to put a lot of fish in the boat. This is a challenge.
Oh boy. Well, you came up with it, so I congratulate you. This is more people should fish for the fishing, not fish for the fish. They should go for the experience of it, not for what can get in the boat.
That's right. So in other words, you're saying it's not about how many you're catching. It's about going and spending the day or the morning on the water and learning about the fish and everything. I am the perfect guide for people who don't care about catching.
Oh, you're the greatest, man.
Anyway,
you're the greatest.
So,
all right. Well, good luck to you today. What's I got to go, but what's the average size when you do hook up for carp?
Most of our carp are in that 10 to 12 pound range.
Wow.
And the likelihood of getting one under 10 pounds is less than the likelihood of getting one 15 pounds.
My goodness.
So, yeah, that's it's a wonderful. O'Neill, you're going to laugh when I tell you this, and I'll let you go. I can't tell you how much I look forward to getting off the striper lake and getting into the carp flats right now. It's just the next 3 months for me is going to be nirvana. I just
fantastic, fantastic. All right, my good friend.
All
good
right,
luck.
Pal. Have a great weekend. Everybody stay safe out there. We'll speak to you next week.
You bet. See you later, my good friend. There we go. There goes Henry. And now let's, okay, we have our answer to the who is this question, and I've got enough time for that. I'm not going to read it again, but let's go ahead and talk to Andrew. Andrew's on line number 3. Good morning, Andrew. Where are you calling from, sir? Marietta?
Hey, yes, sir. Good morning, O'Neill. Thank you for your show. We sure enjoy it.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Everything you do for the outdoorsmen in the state, and especially love the Medal of Honor segment.
Good. I'm glad. That's my pleasure to do that, and I look forward to it.
We've had former family members and one current family member that's serving in the Special Operations Division of the Navy, and he is about to retire from the military, and he has served this country very well.
My congratulations.
It means a lot to us to hear you honor those gentlemen.
All right.
Really interesting to see the 94-year-old man from Columbus, Georgia.
I saw
the
that.
Medal of Honor yesterday.
I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him on in the next couple of weeks. I'm running out of time, Andrew. Who is this person?
That'd be the great Homer Circle.
You bet. And I've got a story about Homer when we get back. This is O'Neill. Thanks for calling, Andrew. Do we have your information? You bet. Thank you, pal. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 40 minutes after the hour. This is WORX Radio. I hope you're enjoying the program. We get a big kick out of it. I will tell you about 11:30 or 12 o'clock on a Friday night, I think, oh, no, I got to get up at 2:30 in the morning and do this radio show. Why did I ever start this? And I think, well, this is fun. So here we are. We in our 29th year now, for goodness sake. I have a further tip from you that now, these fishing tips, I didn't learn these. I didn't invent these fishing tips. What I did was I listened to someone else who was a really good fisherman, and that's how I learned them, and I'm passing them along to you. And we had a caller earlier congratulating me and the show because he learned a fishing tip about the trailer hook on your spinnerbait. And I say that because it's spinnerbait time, okay? Spinnerbait's a big fish bait. That's a big bass bait. And we talked about how he learned how you turn the trailer hook down instead of the trailer hook up, and you'll catch more. And that's true. And I'm going to further refine it and give you an explanation. Ready? Flatten the barb on the trailer hook. You'll catch more. what? Okay, you may not know this. The barb on your hook was invented and placed there, designed and placed there, to hold live bait on the hook, not to hold the fish that you're catching on. You'll get greater hook penetration and catch more fish if you flatten the barb. Come on, O'Neill, this is a stretch now. You got to stop this. Well, let me tell you. I haven't been in 3 or 4 years, but for 10 or 12 years in a row, I had the distinct pleasure, with a great adventure of going to Canada, at a place called Carroll Lake in the Woodland Caribou Provincial Park. In that part of Canada, and we catch northern pike and walleye. In that part of Canada, it's a rule. You have to flatten the barb on your hooks. And I like to use a spinnerbait up there in Canada. And because of the rule, I flattened the barb on the hooks. I don't think I lost a single fish, but I think I caught more because of that flattened barb on the trailer hook. And the forehook also. Flatten the barbs. You won't lose any fish. When you lose fish, it's because he's not hooked at all. He rarely ever throws the hook. Well, what about a jumping bass, and all of a sudden the hook, the plug, the topwater bait flies out of his mouth? Oh man, I hate it. He threw the hook. Yeah, he threw it because it wasn't in his mouth. It wasn't in his lip. It wasn't in his skin. If he threw the hook, he threw the plug because it wasn't hooked into him at all. Because you can tell that because how often when you catch a bass, when you catch a striper, when you catch a walleye, how difficult it is to get the hook out. Even a barbless hook sometimes is difficult. If you lose a fish because you think he's not hooked right or hooked correctly, I think it's because he's not hooked at all. But I could be wrong. I've been doing this a little while, and I've come to know a lot of really great fishermen. So I think that's the case. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Those are the numbers. In the Atlanta area is the 404. Outside the Atlanta area is the 800. And one of these days in the next few weeks, we're going to reach out like we used to do so often and give away a hat or something for the longest distance caller. The last 3 times we did that years ago, and I haven't done it in a while, the 3 callers, I did it 3 weeks in a row, and I had 3 callers. One was from New Zealand, one was from South Korea, and one was from Australia. They listened to the show on the internet, and you can do that too. You can listen to WORX Radio on the internet and at the O'Neill Outside website and at WSB Radio app. You can listen to the show live if you're out there in the truck riding around. But, okay. 45 minutes after the hour, we do this every Saturday morning, and I hope you'll join us. And it's my pleasure to invite you, as I've done several times on this program this week, for you to join us, me and Gail, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook on Monday afternoon or Monday evening. It's a live broadcast, and it's supposed to be 30 minutes. Sometimes I talk too much, and it gets to be longer than that. But we exchange ideas, we answer questions, we respond to criticism, and so on. And beyond that, we have a good time, and it's always good to see you live on Mondays, and it gives me a lot of chance for self-promotion, the book, and the articles. Oh, I was going to tell you, where is that piece of paper? Around here somewhere. All the newspapers. Lake Lanier Life, the Pilgrim Pickens Progress, and all kind of newspapers all over Georgia, a weekly column. It's called O'Neill Outside. So there you are. It's kind of easy to find. All right, let's see what time it is. It's 47 after the hour. If we can get Corey, our brilliant engineer, all set up, we'll jump into the most important, the most rewarding, the most pleasurable portion of O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio, and it's called the Medal of Honor Tribute.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
Sylvester Antilak, Sergeant, Army. When? May 1944 in Italy. Sylvester charged 200 yards over flat, coverless terrain to destroy an enemy machine gun nest during the second day of an offensive which broke through the German cordon of steel around Anzio Beach. Fully 30 yards in advance of his squad, he was leading, he was out front. He ran into withering machine gun fire. 3 times he was struck by bullets and knocked to the ground, but each time he struggled to his feet to continue his relentless pursuit. With one shoulder deeply gashed and his right arm shattered, he continued to rush directly into the enemy fire concentration with his machine gun wedged under his uninjured arm until within 15 yards of the enemy strong point, where he opened fire at deadly close range, killed 2 of the Germans, and captured 10 when they surrendered. He reorganized his men and, refusing to seek medical attention that he needed so badly, he chose to lead the way toward another strong point 100 yards distant. Utterly disregarding the hail of bullets concentrated upon him, he was instantly killed by the hostile fire. However, inspired by his example, his squad went on to overwhelm the German enemy troops, and by his sacrifice, superb fighting courage, and heroic devotion to the attack, Sergeant Antilak was directly responsible for eliminating 20 Germans, capturing an enemy machine gun, and clearing the path for his company to advance. He died when he was 28 years old. And he's buried in Italy. That's the medal. Excuse me. Okay. 404-872-0758, 972-8255. I hope you enjoy the Medal of Honor tribute, and it is certainly my distinct pleasure to be involved in researching that. You can find out all about the men and women who have been awarded. You don't win it. You're awarded the Medal of Honor. And you can find that by going to O'Neill Outside. You'll find a rather large medallion link on the website that will direct you to the Medal of Honor, or you can bypass that, and there's plenty of information. And it's by years, wars, portion of service, and a complete description of everyone that has won the Medal of Honor. See there, win. Who has been awarded the Medal of Honor. And most recently, as a matter of fact, this week, a currently living 94-year-old Georgian from during, I think, World War II, at that age, was awarded the Medal of Honor, and we're going to look him up, and I'll give you his description and his account in the next couple of 3 weeks. Okay. 51 and a half after the hour. This is O'Neill. We do this every Saturday morning, and we do appreciate you joining us with your fishing tips and criticisms and the stories of your trips, where you go, what you do, how you catch them. And one of the things that I wanted to go back to for a moment about when Mac Farr called. Mac's a guide. He's been a guide on Lake Lanier for 40 years. So if I pass along things to you from Mac Farr, you can bet it's a well-founded tip. Excuse me. And that is, if you're on a striper lake or hybrid lake or something of that nature, have rigged and baited a long casting, light line, small weight rod. Have it available for easy reach so that you can cast to the schooling stripers or the schooling hybrids with the small bait. That's why you got to use light line. You may have to make a long cast, okay? And if you're fishing otherwise and they come up close to you that you can reach, don't bother reeling in that one that you're using, that worm, that spinnerbait, what it is. Throw it down. Grab the light line and cast over there and get bit, because they may not be up more than 8 or 10 seconds. And you certainly don't have time to rig anything up, and you certainly don't have time to reel the other lure in. Put it down and make your cast. You should have 2 of those in the boat, okay? Why? Because a lot of times with big stripers, when you first hook up with that light line, it'll break off, and you want to cast another one to it. I've learned a lot from some of these guys, and I hope you're listening. This is O'Neill with WORX Radio. We have a little bit more of the show left, and we'll be back to talk about it and entertain your... Oh, there's a call right there. We've got to get to him in a moment. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio, and we'll be back. We're almost done, and I hope you enjoyed the program. I always have fun doing this. I don't have fun getting up at 2:30, but that's okay. If we're able to share some information and encourage people and find out things about fishing and hunting and animals and wildlife and lakes and streams and enjoy that, then that's good. Those experiences will last a lifetime. We'll take this opportunity to recommend, if you will, more self-promotion. Visit o'neilloutside.com, and on the homepage you can order my book. It's called, appropriately, O'Neill Outside, and it's O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way, 65 years in the outdoors, and it's not a book about fishing tips. It's not a book about hunting tips. It's about the people and places along the way. And you can order it also at Amazon. It has a 5-star rating. All right, enough about that. Okay, it's got a couple of calls this week about places to go fishing. One was a fellow that has to fish out of a wheelchair. Another call was about for children fishing. State parks in Georgia and all over the South, all of the state parks and all of the government agencies have excellent ponds that are well stocked with a dock and parking area, and they're full of fish. What a great idea it would be to take a kid fishing this week. What do you think? Okay? A lot of kids aren't in school, so it would be a good idea to take a kid fishing. And I'm arranging right now for a good friend whose father, because of health problems, is legless, and he's in a wheelchair. And we're going to go to a state park so he can roll right out there on the dock. How about that? Well, let me pass along to this to you. Get your facts straight first. Then you can distort them as much as you like. And let me leave you with this also. If you're too busy to go fishing, you're too busy. Enjoy the music. We'll see you next week.
once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio.